You can't wait around for bureaucracy to do this stuff. You can't wait around for the larger institutions to do stuff. They got budgets and grants to write. It just takes forever. If you want something to happen, it's do it yourself. It's grassroots, it's punk rock, it's what it needs to be so it happens quickly on your own terms. And I guess that's the simplest way of explaining why I'm here. Thanks.
Let's see, I guess we know how to get to the slides. Anyway, while they're figuring out that, so I'm Johanna Popig, and I grew up here in Manila, in Malate, and then in Quezon City. So, and I think that, like Jennifer, that of course influenced me for the rest of my life, and made the importance of exchange and international dialogue, and my interest in being involved in community arts, and I'm a muralist. I did some of the major murals about Filipino history and politics in the Bay Area, just because I feel like it's just, art is a way that is a vehicle and a way that we can really use to communicate across culture, to tell different stories. And so I do both work in my studio and on the street in public space. I'm very interested in how that transforms the way people live, how that teaches us about each other. So what I'm going to show you here are a few pictures of also some of the exhibits that I've participated in that were specifically international exchange shows. The first one here was called Terror, and I wanted to participate in this because it's such a big topic right now. My work is almost always related to current events and politics and the times that we're living in, which is why I wanted to be, and I'm so happy to be in the Galleon trade exhibit, because it's so important, and it's so great to really be thinking about what's happening presently, but to also understanding our histories. But anyway, this show, we can go to the next slide, invited artists from all over the world to send in small paintings, small artworks about, in response to the idea of terror. I don't know about here, but every day, in the United States, we're constantly barraged with orange alert, red alert, the whole thing. So I feel like they're trying to keep us on edge at all times. Basically, I think as a way to manipulate and make us obedient. So that's why I came up with this piece. Let's go for the next one. This is something that I actually created the phrase "End Holy Wars of the Patriarchy," and when they first invaded in the early 90s, when the religious wars and started to become more a part of our experience, the Gulf War, and it just goes on and gets worse and worse. And so I wanted to do a piece about that. Next. I'm a muralist, so I go on attend conferences with muralists from all over the world, and I really enjoy it. This is in Mexico City last year. Let's go to the next slide. And the thing about being a muralist in the United States is that because public art and murals are not commodities, because you can't sell them in a gallery, their value is very questionable in our society. In a very heavily market-driven capitalist society, the value of a mural, which often is talking about histories and communities, is questionable. But that's exactly why I like to do them. And so this is a conference that brought artists from all over the world who do this kind of work in Cuba and Europe and Asia, everywhere. And let's go to the next slide. These were a gathering of women muralists together from all over, and it was just really exciting And then you create these networks. So out of this process, you know, we start to dream up projects and dream up ways of working together. So let's go to the next. I think that's going forward. We need to go forward. This is a project that I did. Let's go to the next. In Cuba, and I found Cuba a really interesting place to go to and to participate in an international art exchange, because here we are in one of the few communist socialist countries left on the planet, and there were artists from, once again, France, Europe, and we all worked together to create these murals. And it's very easy. And one of the hardest things about being a muralist is getting the space and the permission and the bureaucracy. But these are all grassroots projects, especially this one. Cuba's especially grassroots because they don't have any money. They're really happy to have you come paint their walls. You know what I mean? And here's the kids in front of it. Let's go to the next slide. And it's just such a beautiful thing. You know, I don't know. I'm very opposed to corporate culture and corporate aesthetics because they want everything to be really uniform and everything to be. But I love places where they encourage people to express themselves and really create art on the streets. Let's go to the next one. Here is a part of the mural here. Let's go to the next. This was when the Pope was about to visit Cuba. So, and one of the Cuban artists was obsessed with painting polar bears, which is really interesting since it's so hot there. So, I mean, this is the type of thing, you know, like if you don't, I mean, international art exchanges, all kinds of, they're the most exciting things that you can be involved in because you just learn about the way people think based on where they live and the climate they're in, and you know, and you don't know that. And we become more separated from each other, and art is the way to really cross those boundaries because there aren't the same kind of rules that you might have in other kinds of business, or if you're assigned, you know, the different kinds of fields. Art's a place where you can experiment and make mistakes and enjoy that. So let's go to the next. Here's some more. Let's move forward. These are the gals. One thing that I loved about being in Cuba was, like, I don't know, the United States, if you're going to have a party or an opening, it takes you like about 2 months to get the whole thing together and everything. But here it just takes a day. So, okay, so let's move on a little faster. Okay, good. Let's go to the next. I just wanted to show a few slides of the project that we were involved in Manila in 1998. Let's go to the next. This is what Jennifer was talking about. This is one of the places where we start to come together on this project. Let's go to the next. For this, I used the Barbie doll. I often use objects, products, you know, commercial and forms for my work and reinterpret them. So these were the Babaylan Barbies. Let's go to the next. So this one is Kayamangi. And I just like the idea of taking the forms that are sold to us and reinventing them. Let's go to the next. And the next. That's Pinky. Let's go to the next. That's the little Barbie. And I often use the Coke bottle too because it's a great symbol of corporate commodification. So I think let's go just finish off here. So I just want to you can just run through. Yeah, I'm just going to close with saying that being part of the Galleon trade, I approached this project myself somewhat like a muralist. I do a lot of studio work, but as a muralist, you're always thinking thematically, and a lot of times historically, you're thinking about sites, you're thinking about, so I really researched a lot, and I found it so interesting and fascinating, the whole story of the Galleon trade and the position of Manila in that whole time historically. And this just played around with the metaphors and the ideas that came out of that research, because that's what artists do. It might seem like, what did she really do? I don't really quite get it. But if you look in it, you'll see that the ideas are there. And it's just, I have to say, been so far, and I know into the future, a wonderful experience that I'm really happy to be part of.
I only speak Mexican, so if you will allow me to read the translation. in English.